commercial hub of Chicago. Now, he didn't pick that spot by accident. In his lifetime, that was the mouth of the Chicago River. That's where the river used to begin. So see this whole neighborhood dead in front of us, dead ahead of us? It's home to 45,000 Chicagoans. It's called Streeterville. In his lifetime, it would have been the lake. In fact, that building sits up on what we call Michigan Avenue. Michigan Avenue got its name because that's pretty much where Lake Michigan used to come all the way up to. These days, sitting on the building is now called the Magnificent Mile. That's where you can go do all that shopping. If you're of a mind to, you can buy a blazer for its prices as low as $800. Check it out. Building in the city of Chicago. And if you look at it very, very closely, you may even be able to see the humble name, Thomas Turner, nearly stenciled somewhere on it. This, of course, is Trump Tower. Now, Trump Tower loves Chicago, as does its architect, Adrian Smith. He is a Chicagoan, and he put this here with these lines. See those tan green lines on it? What they do is they wrap around Trump Tower and give little architectural salutes to famous buildings that surround it. For example, look right behind Trump Tower. See that very simple, plain, black building? It's a very famous building. There's one genius of the skyscraper. It's a German immigrant. His name's Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Starts us his life as a German, ends it as a Chicagoan, and does his most dramatic work from his new adopted hometown. And that simple black building will be the last thing he builds in his entire life. They literally wheel him out in a wheelchair in 1969 so he can finish building it in his mind. So we have it. Please feel free to walk around the boat, get whatever photos you like. Shoreline loves seeing those, by the way, so feel free to Facebook us or hashtag Shoreline Smile. I love seeing it. Some of these buildings we've already talked about, and many more we will talk about on the way back. But first, I want to take you down the South Bridge. Now, if you look to the left, and just remind yourself very briefly about this curving green river of glass here. This is that architectural phase. Take a look. This is what we would call the second phase of the skyscraper. It's better known as Art Deco. Now, notice it's kind of sleek. It doesn't have all that European beauty. You wave goodbye to that, essentially. You start waving goodbye to that after 451 feet. I was told by an architect that if there's ever an earthquake in Chicago, and there might be because we're on a fault line, the safest place is the Willis Tower, because it's been designed to sway side to side up top to handle the problems of wind. It's secured essentially because it's a bundle of skyscrapers. You could look at it close and see it's actually 9 towers bundled together, creating a super tower. The height of the building, as I said, 1,451 feet to the top of the black roof, but you could also think of it as meters. Some people think more in meters, 443. You could also think of it as stories or floors, 110. Well, really, it's the side facing us, and you'll see these 4 glass rooms shooting out the western face, right? So it's kind of the home that he lived with his family that he built for them has been preserved in a museum, so you can see it from the inside out. So for $2.25, you can take the Green Line. It's just 20 minutes west in the Oak Park neighborhood, and the museum's out there. You can walk around the neighborhood, it's kind of cute. On the outside of the lobby are the same tiles on the inside of the lobby. They all meet exactly with the exact line of the glass coming down that forms the lobby. And they wheeled them out here to look. As nations got bigger and technology got better and alliances formed, that these little tiny wars would flare up and turn into one giant conflagration, like a great war. So they thought they could sublimate some of this energy and compete. What if they competed on the international stage in ways of, in big pageants, and try to figure out who could build something the most beautiful, the most decorative, the most best architecture, or best technology, or beauty. And they call these sort of competitions world's fairs, giant pageants. And essentially, if you were lucky enough to host one, your job was to sort of throw the best party. And no one did it better than the French in 1889, the Parisian Expo. You could say a lot about it, but the easiest thing to understand, it's the one they built the Eiffel Tower for, right? All about that. That's how it went. So 4 years later, America's tapped to host one of these things, and Chicago is picked as the host city. And we don't want to screw it up, so we tell a bridge builder named George Washington Ferris, build us a star. And this is what he comes up with. And that wheel that you're looking at to your right isn't a replica, right? It's just a reference. So in other words, think of it this way. That Ferris wheel is only, it's about 50 feet shorter than the original. So another way to imagine it is this would have been 50 feet taller. Or think about it this way. One car on his Ferris wheel, a single car, would essentially be roughly equal to a modern city bus, right? So one car was a bus. So that means 50 to 60 people could ride comfortably. in the car. So with one car holding 50 to 60 people, that means 27 cars, well over 3,000 people can ride this Ferris wheel all at the exact same time. The problem with it, of course, is how do you get people on it? Right? It's big, it's hydraulic looking. Most people